Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the second part of the Iron Kingdom's Requiem adventure that we and all of us, we being staff here at Privateer Press, are running for hopefully your enjoyment and entertainment. If you are just watching this video, go to Privateer Press Prime on YouTube and watch the first video of this series so that you can see all the shenanigans and death and destruction and adorable puppers and pharaoh carnage that occurred. We also talk a little bit about the setting and everything, but I will do a quick recap of where we are going into this. But first, let me introduce everyone in case you forgot who we were. I'm Will Hungerford, lead developer at Privateer Press, and I am GMing this game. With us is John Swinkels, our convention manager. Say hi, John.
Hello.
Faye Reppas, our development assistant. Say hi, Faye.
Hi.
Loren Lauer, our community manager.
Hello.
And Tony Konichek, our video producer.
How's it going?
There's a chance if you're watching this, the Kickstarter for Iron Kingdom's Requiem is still live. It ends on February 11th, 2021. So if you watch this and think, I would love to run my own 5e games in the Iron Kingdoms, you can go check that out. If it's after that, you can go to privateerpress.com to learn more information or check your local game store to see if it's available or if it's come out, because it could be 2032 that you're watching this video. I don't know you and I don't know your life. But you can find the books wherever you like. Right now, the Kickstarter will have the core book going up that has new classes, new spells, new feats, all kinds of awesome new stuff. Mechanika, Jax. It's great. The Monsternomicon, which has over 80 new monsters in it. And then there'll be an adventure, which is not this adventure, but a slightly longer, good intro to any campaign kind of adventure. So let's recap where we were last time, shall we? So the party are a bunch of mercenaries. We have Vyatka, the Gobber Alchemist, who likes to blow things up and giggle as it happens. Clyde, Swan, gun mage who got kicked out of the military for chronic what was
misconduct.
It? Chronic what?
Chronic misconduct.
Chronic misconduct. Rosemary, an ex-Greylord Covenant wizard who joined it with Kador when they were in Lael and left, is now on her own. And then Sollisa Thunderheart, a Trollkin bard, Fellcaller specifically, who seems to have the kindest heart out of everybody in this group.
I'm not sure how that happens.
But you have the kindest heart so far, even though you are the most fearsome looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, your only attack was a gentle nudge.
Yeah, she cares about literally nothing except for adventuring, but you're just seeing the best side of her right now. If she was in Five Fingers, she would just disappear into a room and you wouldn't see her again until she left.
Well,
and puppies.
Mm-hmm.
She likes puppies. So last session, our group was basically having finished a previous job. We're trying to get to Five Fingers, speaking of, to spend some of their crowns for a little R&R. They were over near New Larkholm in Signar and decided they wanted to follow this new railway they had heard was being built from New Larkholm up to Five Fingers, just to walk along the rail and see how it was going. Also, knowing that construction was happening along the way, it meant that the path might be slightly clearer. As they were traveling down the rail, they encountered a laborjack that was walking back the opposite direction and was carrying an injured individual. After a little bit of distraction of the jack to be able to heal said individual, they were introduced to Thaddeus Duval of the Duval Construction Company, who informed him and his construction company had been ambushed at their site. They had encountered a sinkhole, which wasn't in the original plans, and as they were trying to determine whether to build a bridge over it or build the rail around it, Pharaoh attacked them. The party talked to Thaddeus, and while he was going to go back to New Larkholm to sort things out with those who had hired him and get recompensation, he did want his laborers and workers to be brought home safely because the Pharaoh had captured them. So he offered 10 crowns per individual brought back to New Larkholm safely. And the party agreed mostly for the right reasons. I'm looking at you, Rosemary.
What? I mean...
I believe the phrase was, what if we get them to carry all the goods back somewhere else and then we sell them?
Considering who I used to work for, we're used to that kind of mentality.
I understand. You should be better. Rise above. So the party went that way. They did find the Pharaoh in the midst of looting the various supply crates and wagons, and that the laborers had all been tied up. In a flash of violence, the party killed most of the pharaoh there, ran some other ones off, but they also learned that some of them had gone down the sinkhole. And from one of the laborers who had been captured, they learned that the pharaoh had not come here for the laborers, they had come here for the sinkhole, ordered by a warlord of theirs named Emperor Carver. There's something in that sinkhole they were after, and finding the construction company at that same site was just happy coincidence for them. The job would have been done, but they learned that the pharaoh took up some of the laborers, a pair of them, John and Tobias, down into the hole with them, as the pharaoh called them, trap bait. As the party was deciding what to do, they heard some pharaoh screams and yelling coming from down in the sinkhole, unable to see what's going on. So there sounds like there's some unpleasantry there. So before we began, the party decided we need a break. We just fought 10, 11 pharaoh at once. Clyde's missing a molar. There's been a few wounds done, so the party rested, healed a bit. Rosemarie got some spells back. Vyatka spent some time with his alchemical kit, and he used his 2 full grenades, his acid bombs. He had 3 empty grenade casings on him, and he used his alchemical kit and his materials to build himself another acid bomb, and then you built 2 different ones this time with your grenades, right? Oh, John, we can't hear you.
Oh, there we go.
Helps
if everything's plugged in right. Yeah, I decided to shuffle things around because I don't know what we're going to run into in the hole. So I basically made an alchemical restorative, so kind of a low-grade healing potion, and a bottle of fire.
Vitriolic fire, right?
Fire, always the right choice in a confined area.
Yeah,
that's dark.
Great.
I have dark vision. You might not.
I have dark vision.
Oxygen, but
Well, you can see the enemy better if he's on fire. Just saying.
It's true.
Valid.
So as we start back, the party has been resting at the edge of the sinkhole. The laborers they freed have all gone back south along the rail, hurrying back to New Larcombe and to their boss, Thaddeus, and just to get away from this, because being kidnapped by Pharaoh is not something you typically want to have happen to you. But it is pretty average in the IK because it's a terrible place to live. There was a rope that the Pharaoh had constructed, a very makeshift ladder. They used a pair of rail spikes and a rope to get down the sinkhole. In the middle of the battle, while some of them were trying to escape down the hole, Rosemarie used Mage Hand to pop those out and cause them to fall to their death. 3 Pharaoh fell to their death, 2 from Rosemarie on the rope, and 1 because Sollisa gently nudged one over the side. So at this point, it's still early in the day. I mean, you were early in your travel when you found Thaddeus, and only a few hours had gone by before you got here. So it's not even sunset, not even close to it yet. It's probably about 3-4 o'clock in the evening. So you still have many hours of daylight. You've finished your rest, and now you've come to the work of getting down in the hole and finding the missing laborers.
Well, I think the first thing I want to start doing is maybe looking around through these supply crates and what's left behind and see if we can find any more rope or anything that's going to help us get down in that hole.
Yeah. So absolutely. You take a quick look, and this was crates full of supplies to build a rail line. You find rail spikes, you find rope, you find metal bars, you find all sorts of construction goods, as well as some general food stores and water for the workers to use.
Rosemarie's going to offer, I can just go down with some magic and retrieve the previous ladder if you'd like.
Yeah, but what if you run into
problems?
Whatever made the Pharaoh scream?
Well, I will stay up there and politely return. You.
So why don't you scout and we'll start putting a ladder together?
Sounds good.
Okay.
My hands will be surrounded in arcane runes, and I will cast Spider Climb,
Mm-hmm.
kind of manifesting as like frozen boots that kind of just stick.
Sure.
Whatever I'm walking on.
Ice climbing gear.
Yeah, I'll just kind of like walk to the edge and then start walking down.
Yeah. So literally, like this is the hole. You just kind of go like boop 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 boop
Doot,
boop doot 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 doot. So as you just start walking down like their magnetic boots, going deeper down the sinkhole. So while the rest of you were looking for supplies to build the ladder. It's very dark. The sinkhole goes down and then it twists a little bit so that not a lot of light is coming in. How are you seeing?
Oh yeah, I'm a measly human. I will cast light on like the little Greylord symbol I have on my hat. Just
All right.
use it like a mining helmet.
So you quite literally have a spelunker's helmet built into your hat, and you're like looking around, beams of light shining down. You get further and further down, and you drop down, you think somewhere around 150, maybe 200 feet.
Wow.
Until you get towards the bottom of the sinkhole, which hasn't grown much larger in diameter than the top it is. It's just sort of twisted and spun a little bit through the earth. At the bottom are 3 broken pharaoh. It looks as they fell. It's not a straight drop. They fell and like hit a twist and bounced and rolled. And, you sort of ping-ponged a little bit all the way down to the bottom. They are currently laying at angles that things shouldn't lay at. Quite dead. But when you get to the bottom, it's dead silent. You don't see anything else moving. They're not moving either, so you don't see anything moving at all. And the bottom cavern is honeycombed with tunnels. You see natural cave tunnels, no sort of architecture or anything, just going of all shapes and sizes. Some so small you'd have to get on your belly and crawl. Some big enough that you could simply walk, 3 abreast through. There's just a variety of these tunnels leading off.
Do these look like they were natural, like they kind of grew this way, or like something's tunneling through here?
Would you like to go examine them?
Yeah. I'll go
Okay.
examine them.
Give me a survival roll.
Survival. All right. How about a 12?
Okay. So you take a look, and two things.
+5. I have +5. I'm sorry. 14.
14. Okay. One thing you caught very easily, but there's another thing you notice. So as you look around and you're checking these tunnels out, most of them look like nothing has gone through them for quite some time, but one of them has very obvious tracks. You see pharaoh tracks leading out of one of the tunnels, one of the larger ones that you think multiple people could stand, side by side and go through. But the tracks being left behind is they're dragging something. And you take a quick look and you can tell the previous prisoners they had were bound at the hands, or the wrists and the ankles. Mm-hmm. They're dragging 2 of them down the tunnel.
Gotcha.
The other thing you notice as you look at these tunnels aren't natural, they're burrowed.
Okay.
They have the telltale sort of rings that indicate something burrowed this out. All of them.
Okay. I'm going to start
big old gopher
towards the entrance and grabbing the rope ladder on my way to help everybody support me in this.
So as the rest of you up top have finished collecting some stuff to make, a ladder, Rosemary comes back up top with the pair of railroad spikes and the pharaoh ladder still intertwined back and forth going down it.
Oh, that's convenient.
Nice.
Much easier than you trying to do it the old-fashioned way. The tunnels down there seem to be not natural, but like something's burrowing down there. Does anyone have any experience with what might be burrowing down beneath the earth?
Knowledge nature?
Yeah, you can give me a knowledge nature roll.
Can I roll that too?
Yes, you can.
So it's +5. $14.
I'm a city kid and I got a 5.
So Vyatka, it could be any number of things. Like there are big things that burrow, but you would need to see the holes themselves to have a better idea.
Okay. Well, we'll be heading down there shortly.
Yep. So does anybody do anything up top as you finish reinstating the ladder?
Yep. All good.
All right. So railroad spikes, boom, into the side of the sinkhole. Right about there. Ladder is dropped back down. And one by one, you climb, each of you, down into the dark. When you get down into the dark, it's the same thing I mentioned before, and there's still light from Rosemary's Greylord symbol. Though not all of you need it, some of you see in the dark.
Very well.
You're in, basically it comes down to like a giant pit, almost like this very, very deep well. But at the bottom, and only at the bottom, for about from the cave floor to about 30 feet up, it's just honeycombed with these tunnels in every single direction. Rosemary, do you point out the one that the track she found?
Oh, yeah. I'll point everyone to it and see. Like, they were dragging the 2 prisoners this way.
John, you take a better look at the tunnels.
Mhm.
Whatever made these had 4 arms, and whatever made these was very big, and whatever made these has incredibly powerful and sharp talons.
I don't even know what that could be.
All right, so it's big. It's very, very pointy. And it's got at least 4 limbs.
Do you think it's still around?
Based on the screaming earlier, yes.
Oh, I'd forgotten about that.
So, what would the party like to do?
Hitch
Well-
up and follow that path.
I mean, that path obviously leads to death, but it also leads to our prize. So I guess, yeah. Fun times.
So heroic. I mean, this clearly leads to our doom. Here we go.
But also money.
But also treasure, yes.
Hard nihilism. I don't know what to tell you
This is
guys.
exactly where you would find a rare Orgoth relic. I think there's a good chance of something great there.
Right. So the party begins traveling down the tunnel. You travel for maybe 5-10 minutes in the dark, being led by the light off Roseberry's hat. Until eventually, in the distance, you spot, the tunnel's still been burrowed out of just the rock, but embedded in the rock ahead of you, sticking diagonally up in the path, is a piece of dark stone that looks like it's been worked, like into a perfect cube. It's just sort of stuck midway there. Further ahead, down the tunnel, you see other bits of stone that look like they've had stonework and masonry done to them, just embedded in the rock off to the side. As you travel a little bit further, the tunnel becomes more and more refined. And it actually looks like you're entering some kind of structure underground. Does anybody want to do anything as you carry on?
Do I recognize anything? Like the structure at all?
At this moment, the stones are like broken pieces, and it looks like whatever tunneled these tunnels you're going through kind of destroyed a lot of it, so it's difficult at the moment. You think as you get further in, you might have a better idea of what it is you're looking at.
Okay.
Okay. As you carry on, eventually the tunnel turns and it breaches into a structure. You see that it enters into a hallway that is no longer cave walls, but is an actual corridor. So if this is the corridor, the tunnel sort of wormed its way up and hit here. At which point, Rosemary, you see something you recognize very, very clearly. Inside the stone corridor, in the wall, are faces carved into the stone. Screaming faces, many of which have helmets and horns coming off the side of them.
She gets very visibly excited, immediately going up to study the different shapes, trying to guess what era of the Orgoth invasion this was from.
So you walk right into the tunnel. Like, Rosemary pushes past everybody, gets in, and is like, oh.
Just kicks Vyatka.
As you step into the corridor out of the tunnels, one thing becomes very apparent. This corridor continues on to your left, and to the right, it's immediately almost caved in. Like, you can't go right if you wanted to. You see that the stone structure has fallen and collapsed, hasn't been tunneled out, and you begin studying to determine what era of Orgoth this is. Go ahead and give me I assume you have an associated knowledge roll that'll help you out here.
Knowledge Arcana sounds appropriate.
Or history, if you have
Or
that.
history?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have history.
Yeah, give me a history roll.
24.
You immediately, you're like, start looking at that, and you're like, yes, they used this angle of a nose during this period. And you're like, and I think this work was done by this. So,
Fools, I was taught by Zerkova.
you think whatever structure this was probably about 50 to 75 years before the rebellion.
Okay.
So this existed for almost either half a century to a century before the rebellion.
Would I have any idea of what to expect in an area like this? Like,
You-
are they heavily trapped or?
Yes, you know that Orgoth areas, everyone's unique, and they had a lot of different purposes. But the Orgoth were very spiteful, hateful individuals before they were driven off. And they loved to trap everything they possibly could. They loved to punish people. They loved to torture people. They were very unpleasant. And Orgoth to you might as well be another word for trap, because in all the Orgoth ruins you spent your time in Greylord Covenants, someone inevitably found one or died in one.
Ah, well, I will look to my Gobber companion and go, Vyatka, I think we should expect a lot of traps. I don't suppose you have any skill in sussing those out?
A little bit. Is there any sign of the pharaoh we assume were the ones screaming, or the trap bait / bounty?
I guess they went left.
Yeah, the trail continues to the only way it possibly could, which would be further down this corridor away from the cave-in.
Okay.
Well, we can pretty safely assume until we find dead pharaoh, we're safe.
I give it 50-50 if we stay on the trail.
They only trap some of the bricks in the floor sometimes, so that you could miss, one group could miss it, and the next group could, all of a sudden you've got...
Right, so if we stay where obviously our quarry had their feet dragged, we're probably okay.
No, that's a very good strategy, yes.
So, the party carries on down the corridor carefully, keeping an eye out and worried for something terrible to happen to them. You go on down this corridor for a few minutes, not very long. It makes a couple quick right angle turns, once right, once left, another right, another left. And then the corridor goes about 30 feet ahead of you, and you see an archway that opens into a circular room that you can't see the roof of, but you can see the floor of. This room is 50 feet in diameter, and you see directly across from the entry from the corridor you're in is another similarly sized archway door that carries on into another corridor. Laying at the base of that doorway on the opposite side of the room is a severed pharaoh arm, severed at the elbow. The tracks that you've been following go all the way up to the room that you're looking at and stop, and then continue on the other side in the hallway, but not in the room itself.
Mm-hmm.
And from what you can tell, there are less of them on the other side than there were on this side.
Delightful. Okay. So, work our way slowly up to the edge of the corridor.
Okay. You get all the way to the edge and you sort of peek up. As you look around, again, 50-foot diameter circular chamber. The floors are kind of made of just straight stone work that's all curved and to make a giant sort of spiral, like the yellow brick road in a giant spiral in the middle of the room.
Mm-hmm.
This room has nothing on its walls. The walls in the corridors you've been going through have had Orgoth engravings and so on and so. But when you look at these walls, they're smooth. They don't even actually have the bricks that are on the floor and in the corridors. They're just sheer stone walls. And you look up, they go up about 50 feet to the top. And at the top, you see the regular stonework that makes the spiral pattern. The only other thing in this room is the pharaoh arm, and then 50 feet across the way is the other archway doorway that goes to the corridor that carries on.
Okay.
You don't see any bodies in here. You don't see any blood. You don't see any signs of struggle. You don't see any tracks.
Interesting.
Are the spirals, do they mirror each other, like at the top and bottom, or are they opposite?
They mirror each other.
I guess an investigation check to see if I can see anything out of place, or see if there's like some kind of device or artifice to this. All right, how am I at investigation? Fairly decent. Okay.
And to be clear, none of us have crossed the threshold, right?
Correct. None of you have crossed the threshold.
I'm just doing that eyeballing. So, 14.
You look around and nothing seems out of place, though. Actually, at 14 does tell you one thing. The corridor you've been walking through, there's the trail you've been following, mainly because you've been looking through ancient and old dust and crumbles of rocks and pebbles that were in these tunnels. It was very easy to track. The stones on the floor of this room are perfectly clean. There is nothing on them other than the blood trickling out of the severed pharaoh arm onto one of the stones.
I got a bag of sand on me. For my scholar's pack, I'm gonna take a handful of sand, just toss it into the room, and see if there's like any interference.
Okay, just a regular handful of sand.
Yeah.
Okay, you throw
Pocket
it.
sand.
Pocket sand. The sand hits one of the stones. it rolls, and then it sinks through the cracks between the stones. And you hear it, like, sounds like sand in an hourglass, just being like, sss. The sound of the sand dropping comes from beneath the stones.
Oh, interesting.
Oh.
Like,
So
you sense that it's falling.
Like it may be an illusion over the floor.
The sand still landed on the stone, and then it rolled off, and it went into the cracks between stones, and then you heard it falling down.
Or like the spiral opens and people just plummet to their doom.
That could happen, yes.
And
like
it's
another-
snapped shut, and that's why there's a pharaoh arm hanging out on
Oh,
the other
it's
end.
Like, is it hollow beneath, or like another chamber below, or something?
You don't know.
We still have the rope on us that we collected from above, right?
Yeah.
I could walk on the because I still have spider climb up. It lasts for an hour. I could walk along the wall to the other side and carry a rope and then affix it to something.
And then just kind of
And then
crawl
just
across the rope.
Yeah.
That's not the worst plan.
Let's
Yeah,
do
sure.
it.
Just so to make sure nothing's going to laser beam me first if I step outside. Like, watch my back.
Looks clear.
Thanks.
I investigated.
I will cautiously just kind of put my hand through the threshold to see if something immediately comes down.
You put your hand through the threshold, nothing happens.
Okay, and then I'm gonna reach my leg around so I can I'm not gonna step on the ground at all. I'm just gonna try to step on the wall immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you put your frozen boot on the wall, and you find purchase with your spider climb.
Okay, and then I'm gonna just try and get up on there all proper and just kind of take the rope they offer me and walk around.
As you start walking around, and you have kind of an aerial view, you realize that you can see through just a little bit because you're shining light down through your hat.
Yeah.
The cracks in every stone in the floor, and you can't see what's underneath. Like you're having the effect of shining a flashlight down through think like a wooden plank deck, right?
Oh. Yeah,
right, and you're looking down, and you can see the light continues on, and then the light just goes and dies out somewhere.
Okay, I kind of report what I'm seeing to everyone else and be like, it's very good we don't fall through that. That looks very unpleasant. Yes, unpleasant.
Long and awful.
Yeah.
You safely get to the other side, and you cross the threshold onto the opposite side, right? Is that where you're going? Okay.
Yep.
You drop down. There is a blood trail that carries down the hallway where you see maybe 15 feet down the corridor is a dead pharaoh that's had its arm severed at the elbow and is laying there. He's been stripped of all of his gear.
Okay. I'm going to try and take a little hammer or something and some of the railroad spikes and kind of affix the rope safely on this side.
All right, so you're going to try and take a railroad spike and bang it into Orgoth stone.
Yeah.
Okay, give me a strength check.
Oh.
Athletics, if you've
Or
got it.
maybe one of the eyeball areas on a face.
Yeah.
So athletics, if you have it, just regular strength, if not.
8.
Okay. You're yeah, that'll hold. Yeah, that'll hold.
And then I'm like, hold on, everybody, wait just 1 second. I'm gonna grab the pharaoh body and I'm gonna drag it over. And I'm just gonna try and toss it onto the floor to see what happens, so we know what to expect at least.
Okay. You drag the pharaoh body. You throw it onto the floor. The doors shut on both sides. You on one side of the corridor, the rest of the party on the other side. As soon as it hits the stones of the floor, doors come down that you didn't see were there and close the chamber off.
Listen.
You hear the sound of stones grinding, and then something very heavy falling a great distance and then cracking on the ground beneath.
What happens to the rope? Does it get cut? Or
She didn't throw the rope through. She had just nailed the spike in.
Yeah, right. Well, no, we should be holding on to the other side of the rope.
Yeah, I was.
Or else you can't throw it that far.
Oh, did you have the rope on the other side? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was imagining it being strung across at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when the doors closed, the rope snapped.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. You all sit there listening, About a minute and 30 seconds goes by, and then these stone doors that drop down over the thresholds out of nowhere slowly come back up. And the room is perfectly clean. There's no rope in it. There's no pharaoh body in it. There's no trail of what happened.
So, Mage Hand was a cantrip, right?
Yeah, Mage Hand's a cantrip.
Okay, take the other length of rope. Have you summon it across?
Politely drag the
Let's
rope across.
try that again.
Okay. So
There's
nothing touched the floor.
Yeah, there's a pedestal in the middle of the room or something?
no, there's nothing in the middle of the room.
Nothing. Okay.
Is that arm gone now?
Yes, because you had the arm on the other side at that point. Yes.
Uh,
All right, so secure it real good.
All right, so Rosemary, you mage hand the rope over to your side.
Yeah, I Mage Hand the rope over and.
Okay. Rope floats over, never touching the floor, and comes over to the spike you have embedded in one of the eye sockets of one of the statues with the broken bit of rope.
I'm going to try to, like, I saw the 2 spikes before. I want to try another spike just because I'm feeling extra nervous having just seen the carnage. I'm like, well, just to make sure one more can't hurt.
Just to be sure that our troll friend can get across.
Okay. So effectively, that's going to give you advantage on your original roll. So roll me another strength check, and if it's better than the 8 you rolled, we'll use that instead.
Hey, I rolled a 15. What's my strength? Hey, I have +1 strength, so 16.
All right. So this time you take 2 spikes, jam them in there, really work the rope. The rope goes taut. Who's holding it on the other side?
I'm probably holding it.
Okay. So it seems very anchored on Rosemarie's side. On the rest of the party side, I mean, Sollisa's just holding it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will probably end up having to do the same
ties.
thing.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll grab my hammer out of my bag and hammer some
Try
spikes
2
in the wall.
nickels.
Oh, and
What's
you have a hammer on you.
I do.
Make a strength check with advantage, athletics, if you've got it. As you know, Rosemarie didn't have a hammer. Rosemarie was just like
24.
All right, so you're like, this will hold. You just hold the spike, and you're like, and you drive it like into the stone.
Okay.
Who wants to cross first?
I will. Because I weigh 40
Let's go
pounds.
lightest to heaviest, I think is the right idea here.
Okay, so you can use either strength, specifically athletics, or dexterity, specifically acrobatics. Your
I will
choice.
be using acrobatics, please, and thank you.
Because the party has created a really strong rope. Your DC to cross the room without touching the stones is 5.
Ooh. Let's see if I die today. All right, so D20 plus acrobatics is a 4. That text is so small. That's
124.
That's just a number that didn't roll.
Don't think that. I think you're cheating.
13.
All right, Vyatka gets up on the rope and just quickly shimmies across the rope and gets over to Rosemarie's side. Who's next?
I get to the other side of Rosemarie.
Clyde will go next.
All right, you want to use
Secretly
athletics or
grateful
acrobatics?
Vyatka went first. I'm going to use acrobatics.
All right, DC 5.
Don't die.
19.
You walk across like a tightrope? Like
No. Clyde used to be a military man. He had drills. He's done this
He
before.
just uses this.
With confidence.
With confidence, shimmies across the rope, gets to the other side, leaving Sollisa as the last one to cross.
Okay, here we go. Oh, well, I rolled really good. 21.
All right. So one by one, the party crosses the Orgoth chamber. The floor never sinks away, so you're able to cross it without ever seeing what was underneath or falling into it and having to deal with those problems. But you make it across the room safely to the other corridor, having beaten the room. Everyone gets inspiration for overcoming this encounter without triggering the trap on any party member in any capacity.
Yay.
Booyaka shot.
Good job.
I love that art.
so good.
This could have been you. It wasn't.
Gone spelunking.
No more than a few seconds have gone by where everyone has a moment of relief that you've got across the room safely, leaving the rope intact, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah.
When further
Yes.
down the corridor, you hear another pharaoh squeal, followed by a much more human voice in Ordic, for those of you that speak Ordic, yell out,
Yes.
Morrow, save me.
Oh, geez. How far? Can we tell how far down the corridor? Like, is it, just
The-
around the bend, or is it way off?
The acoustics in here are very strange. They echo a bit. It doesn't sound like around the corner, but it also doesn't sound super far away. Like, it's hard to tell exactly how far you need to go.
Okay.
What does everyone want to do other than just hurry down the corridor? Does anybody have anything special they want to do?
No.
I assume we can still follow a trail.
Yeah, the trail's very obvious.
Yeah, we
Light
keep following the
situation
trail
is okay.
carefully
that-
to not.
Our light
But-
situation is okay. Rosemary's
Got-
still got her.
Yep.
Last
All
for
right.
an hour.
Yeah, lasts for an hour. So the party carries on down the corridor, making a little bit of haste. The corridor makes a few more turns before it stops. At the end of the corridor is a staircase going down to the left. The screams are much louder and are obviously echoing from whatever is coming at the bottom of the stairs or somewhere in that general vicinity. Again, you hear Pharaoh screaming. You hear something growl. You hear the sound of a Pharaoh screaming, but it's a Doppler effect. So it's sort of like, "Meow." And then you hear smash.
Oh no.
Again, in Ordic, you hear people, a person praying tomorrow for safety and deliverance.
Well, who wants to go first?
Yeah. Do we want to
Well,
choose?
I won't give us away because
choose
I
an
have
order?
dark vision, so the light doesn't
Yeah.
have to trigger anything.
I also have dark vision, so I
then
can
the
go
troll
with the Gobber. You guys can stay back.
The troll flipping goes first.
All right. So
Mm.
you see the staircase here. It goes down. You see another large Orgoth face carved into the ground. You can't see what's around this corner or what's this corner. Rosemary, because of your knowledge, looking down, you know that this specific symbol, this specific face, often carved in the ground, has a specific connotation. This is usually tied to Orgoth catacombs, where they keep their honored dead.
Okay, I will let the party know that, and just to be careful of more traps and possibly the undead themselves.
What about
Orgoth are known for that.
were they also known for burying treasure with their dead?
Oh, absolutely.
Hooray!
All right. So apparently I'm in the front, so I'm gonna poke my head up to this corner and look around the corner.
As you look around the corner, a pharaoh flies by you and smashes into the wall right here. Like it got hit by a train.
I don't like it.
Nope.
What you see, let me give you some vision here
Mm-hmm.
as you're peeking around the corner. So 1 second, I'm going to do this in a couple little stages. First you see, oh, that's not reveal, that just darkens things. Let's get to where you can actually see. There we go. So you see the corridor carries on further down. You think these little alcoves off to the side are probably areas where there might be some dead buried. But at the end of this hallway, what you see is what bothers you the most. There are 3 pharaoh in the room, running from and desperately trying to fight something you've never seen in your life before. I'm going to blow it up real fast if everybody's at the top of the screen so you can see what it looks like.
I've zoomed in too.
Ooh.
Cool.
You see a 4-armed monstrosity. Its innards glowing with necrotite green. It is sort of like moving at a speed that is actually a little difficult to track with your eyes and growling at the pharaoh. It has 1 pharaoh in its tiny little hands, which it's looking at the other 3 in the room. Let me get back to its normal size. It's got one that's holding in its tiny little hands, kind of up against its rib cage. You see, it flips it up to one of its bigger hands, and it throws it at one of the other pharaoh at a speed that something living shouldn't be able to throw another living creature at.
Great.
From somewhere around the corner, that's somewhere around this area, you hear the echoes in Ordic of "Morrow, please save me."
Okay. So I'm going to motion for everybody to move up, and I'm going to tell them that we're going to have to prepare for a hell of a battle.
Oh, joy!
Go ahead and move everybody up to where you would like to be.
Gas mask on.
Yeah.
How tall is the ceiling, Hungerford?
The ceiling in here is about 25 feet tall.
Okay. Can I be on the ceiling?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Orgoth catacombs sometimes were very tight, constricted places, and sometimes they were large, grandiose areas. And this is a very grandiose catacomb.
Okay.
Honored dead.
Yeah.
Emphasis on honored.
As you're on the ceiling, by the way, which this thing is capable of reaching. Rosemary, give me a Arcana roll.
Oh, yeah. 17 plus 5 is 22?
This is a sepulchral lurker. The fact that it's here is horrifying. They normally exist out in the Bloodstone Marches. They don't exist this far west. You have no idea how or why this thing is here.
Okay.
Couple things you know. They can create undead out of the things they kill.
Got it.
They can burrow.
Okay.
They're horrifying. And they are far beyond the means of this party to combat.
Oh.
You know in your veins and in your bones, fighting this thing head on will lead to certain death.
Okay. I will tell the party that there's no way we can fight. What'd you say it was? Spectral lurker?
Sepulchral lurker.
Sepulchral lurker. We need to try and lure it into one of the Orgoth traps. That's maybe the only way we have to fight it. But we also have to keep the pharaoh from it, otherwise it will make more undead.
And we also have to save whoever's over there as quickly as possible.
Can we?
Well, I mean, what is the difference between 60 and 70 crowns?
The treasure the lurker is guarding?
You make a strong point.
So,
down.
Big monster means big loot, right?
As you're having this conversation, the lurker leaps on top of this pharaoh on all fours, and you can't see the pharaoh disappears under its hulking mask. You just see its tiny little hands working like a surgeon. You just see like, and chunks of pharaoh are flying like somebody put ground beef in a blender and left the lid off.
Oh no!
Rude.
Can we?
His milkshake brings all the boys to the other.
So Clyde just hatches like a quick plan to be like, well, if we can get, somebody, find out what's around this corner, kind of to the right here, and have people waiting over, and then just try to lead the lurker out of this tunnel towards the trap would be awesome, and then the others can go in and grab.
Um,
I'm willing to try to sneak over to this other spot.
Okay.
Or just kind of tumble and roll over.
Are you going to try and sneak? Because right now you don't think the lurker knows any of you were there.
Oh, definitely.
So
sneaky.
I just would like to skitter over.
Yeah, go and give me your stealth roll, and I'll let you know if it notices there's more people come to the party.
+5 to stealth. That should ideally not suck. 14.
Well, the lurker's passive perception is 15. So as you scutter across, it's the middle of playing with its Play-Doh, tearing little chunks off, and you see it stops on all fours, and its head just snaps up and looks directly at you. Right as that happened, the two pharaoh over here fire their pig irons at it, and it turns and it grunts back at them, and then it looks back directly at Vyatka and looks back at the pharaoh. Everybody, roll initiative.
No, I don't want
I wore the brown pants.
You'll be fine. Everything's fine. All right, let's see. What did Vyatka get?
1 second. I'm entering numbers +3. I got a 19.
Nice. What did Clyde get?
Clyde got a 22.
Wow. Look at Tony.
Stellar.
What did Rosemary get?
Dose.
Awesome.
What did Sollisa get?
12.
Okay, let me roll. real
Rosemary's
fast.
just dancing on the ceiling.
Yeah, Rosemary is on the ceiling. Pharaoh got themselves a 14, and our good buddy the lurker got itself. Luckily its initiative isn't super high. It got itself an 8.
Say, did I beat it?
No.
No, you got a 2. So our initiative order for this encounter is going to be Clyde, Vyatka, the Pharaoh, Sollisa, the lurker, and Rosemary. So, little friendly bit of GM advice before you go into this encounter. This encounter is not CR appropriate for your party.
Yeah, we got it.
If the party runs around the corner and all charges the lurker, we're going to have a short session and we can get back to promoting the Kickstarter another way. One of you might die. Be careful. Let's carry on with Clyde. You're the first to go. So the lurker has noticed Vyatka and was looking back and forth between the two. Real fast, let me reveal an area to Vyatka so you can see what's going on over here, because you did make it over there. It's
darkened.
I clicked reveal. There.
Aha!
So you see this corridor carries on and basically just makes a big loop around. There is a pharaoh, as you can see,
cowering in the corner.
Cowering in the corner, who makes eye contact with you. He looks down at the ground, and he looks specifically, and he points to this line of stones, and he points to this line of stones. He looks at you and does like this.
I say in grunt. Pharaoh, like blades?
He nods. All right, Clyde, what would you like to do?
I'm going to hold my action until everyone's in position. Kind of signaling Sollisa and Rosemary to follow Vyatka down the hall. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's all I have time to explain.
Giving you a look like, seriously?
All
right.
So, Tony, you were holding until the rest of the party is gone?
Correct.
Okay, so you'll be the last person to go this initiative.
Correct.
Okay. Vyatka, you go.
Okay. Let's see here. So in Grun, step trigger.
He nods. He points up to the ceiling in the corner here and the ceiling in the corner here. Now, this wall in the middle is a wall that goes all the way to the roof. So you see he's kind of like pointing around the corner, and he's pointing up. And then he looks at you, and he does, with his hand, he just does this.
Just nod at him. Okay. So I guess it's just an acrobatics to just try tumbling past it and not get hit by the whirling blade of death.
Yep. You can acrobatics. It's super easy.
Okay.
DC 5 to just jump over. Because you're trying to clear the whole area as best you can.
Basically clear the path of the blade.
Yep. Show me what you got. Easy.
9.
Go ahead and move yourself freely across that section, knowing that you won't land on it.
3, 4, 5, 6. I don't want to be around the pharaoh. And then, sorry, back here, ceiling moves 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll hang out there.
Okay. So first off, what you see. These alcoves are filled with ancient tapestries and wooden boxes and relics. This looks basically to be like a conqueror's horde. You think that what this is whoever's buried here, these are probably the things in life they took from others. And were buried with as a sign of their conquest. In the corner of the ceiling here, are 10-foot long metal pendulum blades that you step across one of these as you walk in, it swings by and just bifurcates you.
Right.
Do you have an action you want to take?
I did 2 move. So.
Oh, you did double move. Thank you.
Removed.
The Pharaoh go. Each Pharaoh is going to shoot at the lurker, and then they are going to fall back because they don't want this to happen to them. Their pig irons at point blank range both hit the lurker and do nothing, bouncing off its hide. This one retreats. That one retreats. Next up would be, pull my notes up real fast because I unfortunately just lost them. Sollisa, yeah.
I think I'm going to hold my action until after the lurker goes.
Okay. Well, the lurker goes next, so you'll be going right after it.
Yeah.
The lurker charges after these Pharaoh, getting right here.
Aw. Poop again.
It grabs one Pharaoh in its tiny little hands. And as it begins just sort of like a cat going to a litter box, just tearing it apart in tiny little chunks, leaving like little Pharaoh bits coming out like a paper shredder. The other one, it picks up with its larger hands and cracks in half over its head. It sees you, and it throws one of the chunks at you over the threshold. It flies over your head and smashes somewhere back here. The other one, it just slams down on the ground, and it turns and drops to all fours and begins growling at you, Vyatka.
Poop.
Sollisa, you get to go.
I do. I'm going to turn to you guys and say, don't follow me. This is stupid. And then I'm going to move closer.
Just run full bore.
Yeah. So I'm going to run.
Yes.
There. I'm hoping I can peek around the corner a little bit to see if I can see the man, the person that's been praying in Orgoth.
Their shouts you think are coming from somewhere around this corner.
Okay.
Let me reveal a little bit more to you.
I couldn't quite get completely around it.
So yeah. Well, you see, you have to go up around here.
Yeah, okay.
You see the lurker, though, and the lurker is staring at something down this hallway.
Yeah. I'm trying not to have any attention drawn to me, but I'm also double moving, so I'm not like doing it stealthily.
Sure, of course. All right, so next would be Rosemarie, and then Clyde with his held action.
Oh, jeez.
That's the sound you always like to hear a player make.
What? I think I'm just going to take an easy double move. Let's see.
On the ceiling.
Yeah. The ceiling. Is there geometry on the ceiling that I could hide in, like buttresses and archways?
Yes. Yeah, especially if you crawl yourself into one of these like little alcoves and stuff like that, or get yourself near a corner. The main like thoroughfares across the main corridors, not so much. But if you hug a wall or something, you're okay.
I basically want to get to that corner, and then I'm gonna go here.
Yep.
And just kind of try and hunker down. I don't have enough actions left to sneak, but
okay.
I'm gonna do that next turn.
So you run up, you see the lurker, and it's on all fours looking at Vyatka. It also, as it's looking at Vyatka, down this center corridor, a trollkin goes running. So you see that the lurker stops and like sniffs and like leans its head over and looks directly at Sollisa. Looks back at Vyatka, looks back at Sollisa, and you think it's deciding who it wants to go after first. Clyde, you're the last action.
All right. Regroup and adapt. The plan has changed slightly, but we'll stick with the meat of it. Clyde is going to move over by Rosemary.
Okay.
And then... so he's just going to run over, and then...
You could be under me, I think.
Yeah, you could technically be under Rosemary.
Okay.
She's on the ceiling. But put your icon off to the side just so we know. Like,
okay. So just kind of
that you
hugging this corner. I'm not... I kind of whisper to Rosemary, like, I'm going to draw it towards us. But with my double move, I have no action.
Yeah, that she agrees. Like, that was her plan, too.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, then we're on to a new round, everybody. So, Clyde, you go first because it's a new round and you are the first in the initiative order.
I am going to step out just enough, hugging the wall as much as I can, moving as little as possible, where I can get an eye line to the lurker.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to give it, I'm just going to shoot at it. Like nothing special, nothing fancy. I just want it to know I'm here.
It will know.
Okay.
Have you ever fired a pistol in an enclosed space?
Everybody will know.
And am I shooting? This is probably with disadvantage, I believe, as well.
What's your range?
It's 30. No, it's 40.
What's your max range?
120.
Then you're definitely at disadvantage long
Okay.
range.
All right. So here's roll number 1. There's roll number... Oh, geez. Well, I guess I don't really need to hit it. That was just going to be the bonus.
Okay. An ear splitting, just kagoom from a pistol going off. Now, the ceilings are 25 feet up, so it's not as bad as being in an actual corridor, but it's still loud. Goes off. You shoot. The bullet hits the sepulchral lurker. It just bounces off of it. Just lands in the stonework. It sees you. It grunts intelligently at you. Like, this thing isn't just an animal. It opens its mouth, and the greenness you see flowing through it begins to pour out like a gas out of its jaws. It begins seeping across the floor. Where you're standing, Vyatka, it starts to get very, very cold.
Yay, the gas mask!
So back to Clyde. That was your action. Anything else?
No, I'm just going to hang here. Well, actually, I'll run out this way. Just come over here and just kind of start like waving my arms like ah.
Okay, so you shoot and start waving your arms. So good news for Sollisa, the sepulchral lurker is no longer looking at you. It is very much looking down this hallway. All right, so next would be Vyatka. You are currently in a very dangerous path.
Yeah, we're gonna run to about this corner here. And
Okay.
once again, try to avoid the blade of death.
Give me that acrobatics check, DC 5.
Okay. Oh, 1d20 plus 4.
Yeah. You go running and just jump and tumble and land on the other side. The last surviving pharaoh goes. It sees this happening and it decides to try the same thing. And it makes it.
All right. I hereby dub this pharaoh Hamilton.
The pharaoh runs out, taking your lead, runs, and then jumps over the section right here. Lands on the other side, gets up, and in Grun says, "Great idea."
GTFO.
Sollisa, you go before the lurker does.
I think I want the lurker to head down that pathway before I turn this corner, so I'm gonna delay one more time. Right until after the lurker.
Sounds good. The lurker goes. It runs right here, stops, looks at the stones, looks up at you knowingly, with an intelligent look in its eyes. You see it smile as it goes, huh, opens its mouth, and it just breathes out necrotic gas that fills this entire area and comes billowing out here. You have your gas mask on, right?
Yep.
And we look at where it's going to end. The gas reaches just in front of you, stops feet away from your face. This entire area, this entire room, is full of its pestilent breath and is a toxic hellhole right now. You see the lurker fills that room up, then turns and starts looking back this way.
Hey, you know that gust of wind spell, you know?
Rosemary, it's your go. These things are clearly intelligent, and this thing clearly knows about the trap. But the trap is still there.
Do we need this cleared out? She's going to ask everyone else because, like...
I don't know!
But we need to keep that thing away from Sollisa. So, like, drawing it forward or at least holding it where it's at.
Can I see it at all?
The sepulchral lurker?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see it through the green haze of necrotic gas that just breathed into this chamber.
I'm gonna cast grease on its square. Maybe we can get it to fall on the trap.
Oh, that would be so good.
I love this plan. This is a great plan. All right, so you're going to cast grease, making just a big 10-foot square.
Yep.
What is your spell DC? And it's a dex saving throw here.
I believe it's 13. Let me double check.
Sure.
Yeah.
The prey of every player of an RPG. Roll a 1. Roll a 1. Roll a 1.
Well, don't you roll a 1. Make it roll.
No. They roll 1s. You roll 20s.
Bro, DC 13.
DC 13, okay. Though this thing is big and bulking, it's actually not the most dexterous creature here.
I was hoping.
Oh, no!
So it starts to slip a little bit and barely retains its footing. Like it's standing up, but it rolled a 13 exactly, so it passed its save.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But it didn't pass by much. It's in a puddle of grease, and you see it starts to like lose its footing. Like have you ever seen a dog or a cat walk on like a slick floor that's recently been like mopped or something like that? It's kind of like doing that. It does not seem happy about what just happened.
You may have just made my day.
Yes. Also, it's difficult terrain, so it may have a harder time getting to Sollisa. So,
here's hoping.
And it's flammable.
Also, Sollisa, you held your action, right?
I did, yeah.
So you're the last person to go this round.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, and Rosemary, did you want to move anywhere, or are you happy on the ceiling where you're at?
I'm happy on the ceiling where I'm at. I want to see what it's doing.
I'm going to go 20 feet to here.
Okay.
Gonna, peek around this corner.
Yeah. Looks free and clear as far as you can tell.
And there's nobody.
You need to go a little bit further.
Oh, God. I don't want to go a little bit further. Why?
You'll be fine. It'll grow back.
4, 5.
All right.
I still have 20 feet of movement.
In this room is a pile of dead pharaoh, dead wildlife, dead things that are found underground, just like piles of like bats and other things this thing is tunneled after. Basically, you find it's larder, effectively. And in the wreckage of all the bits of things that it's captured and eaten, probably is also where it sleeps. You see the two construction workers, John and Tobias, that are here. They're still bound at the wrists and the ankles, and they are tied to a dead pharaoh who is laying in the middle of the room.
Good, great. Trick of the road.
You think the pharaoh was the one dragging them along, and then he met his unfortunate end, and they drug the corpse into this corner as the lurker was going ham on everyone.
Yeah, I finished my move. I think about anything that I could potentially do with the bonus action. I don't think there's anything immediately. I wish that these guys made the ropes out of wood. All right, that's it. Continue.
You wish they made the ropes out of wood.
I can destroy wood with my voice. I can't destroy ropes with my voice.
All right, so Clyde, it's a new round. You go first. So what you see is the lurker standing in a grease puddle, slipping around, but it looks like it regained its footing enough. It's probably going to solidify and be able to move again here in a second.
I am going to cast Snipe on myself so that I can take any future shots not at disadvantage.
Sure. And what's the action cost on Snipe? Is it bonus action or standard action?
Let me see. Snipe is a bonus action, so I will cast Snipe on myself, and then I'll just go ahead and hit it with a shot.
Go for it.
So yeah.
But do you want to do any special kind of trick shot? Do you want to use your wild shot?
So wild shot would be good. I guess any damage to this thing. I was going to save it till I might know. Well, it's random anyway. Sorry. So wild shot is just I can kind of give like just a random, almost like an aggro push of arcane energy through my gun that just does some extra damage, but also has an extra like elemental effect, acid, cold, fire. But it's wild, so I don't get to pick what comes out the other side.
And it costs you a spell slot to use wild shot.
Well,
Do it.
that is going to be a problem if I've already cast Snipe.
So that's the choice you have. You could either snipe your gun or shoot and make the wild shot and spend the snipe spell slot. So kind of your call, whatever you think's better.
You have inspiration, so use your wild shot.
So I'll use the wild shot and inspiration to avoid the disadvantage.
Okay. All right, so your spell slot's spent. All right, Tony, you just got to hit this thing.
1d20 plus 5.
And then roll fire. Oh no.
How about a 9? 9's good, right? 9 hits it. It's big. It's huge. Please.
Your shot was a little too wild, Tony. It actually bounces off the wall, missing completely. Would you like to move somewhere?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna.
Would he have had? Never mind. Ignore me.
I'm just gonna move over here by Vyatka, just kind of keeping this thing in line, still kind of hugging the wall, keeping myself protected.
All right, sounds good. Speaking of Vyatka, it's your go.
All right, he is just in range for the max length of my ability to throw this bottle of liquid fire at the grease puddle he's standing in, and just pray. So I will also use my inspiration to negate the disadvantage.
Okay.
And then I'm just rolling to hit, I guess.
You can do it. I have faith in you.
I have some kind of faith in me. 21.
You absolutely hit it.
Yeah.
All right, so this is your vitriolic fire, right?
Yes.
So go ahead and read to everybody what vitriolic fire does for everybody watching at home that may not be used to it.
I am scrolling down.
It's one of the different formulas an alchemist might know. They have a limited amount they know, and they learn more as they go. And then they can spend downtime to fill grenades and vials and stuff with these.
All right. So vitriolic fire is a dangerous alchemical oil that bursts into superheated flame upon exposure to the air. Some alchemical arms producers make huge batches of this substance for use in cinder bombs. I use it for, putting in my coffee. As an action, you can throw a flask of vitriolic fire, shattering it on impact, make a ranged attack against a creature. Did that, treating the vitriolic fire as an improvised weapon. On a hit, the target takes a d6 fire damage. At the start of its turns, a creature can, I think it's meant to say each of its turns, a creature can end this damage by using an action to basically make a DC 10 to stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah. So it's going to take a d6 at the start of every one of its turns of fire damage. So you throw fire down the hallway. It lands in the grease, and the lurker goes up in flames, covered from head to its weird legs in flames. You see a snort, like a bull snorting steam out of its nose, of necrotic gas just goes... And now there's a flaming sepulchral lurker at the end of the hallway, staring at everyone. Very, very upset.
And then...
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I run back around over to this corner.
All right.
And bonus action to hide, though it probably won't do any good.
The Pharaoh here turns to you, Vyatka, and in Grun says, "What is retreat plan? How do we get out?"
He's got a good point.
As you look at him and kind of go, the Pharaoh goes, "I have idea." It just runs.
You guys, I think its idea is just to run away.
I mean,
we got to stop that guy before he messes with our rope.
Oh, Frank, you're right.
Sollisa, it is your go.
Well, maybe he'll be smart enough to use the rope. I mean, he already saw the trap, so he'll probably be smart enough to use the rope. All right.
Yes, but is he going to break our rope?
Is he going to leave it for us?
Bastard. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. All right.
So just shoot him in the back of the nugget.
Walk up to here. I'm going to pull a dagger out, cut one of the binds on one of the guy's wrists, and then drop the dagger on the ground and say, "Follow me after you get him out." And then I'm going to finish my move and move to here.
The workers actually go right after Sollisa. The one that dropped the knife cuts the bindings at his ankles, goes over to his friend, cuts the wrist and the ankles, frees. They both basically partner up next to you, freed. And one of them says to you in Ordic, "How are we getting away from that thing?"
Good, solid question.
The
Make
lurker
it up as we go along.
The lurker goes. The lurker charges through the trap room and is going to be trying to jump over the stone traps that it knows are there.
But it's angry.
Does it get some kind of disadvantage for being?
I am giving a disadvantage for both grease and being on fire.
I did roll 3 damage.
So. 3 damage? Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, 3 damage for the actual fire.
Yeah.
So yes, because the party has greased it and then set it on fire, I'm going to give it disadvantage. It only gets a +1 to this roll, and it's got to get a 5 to jump over that it knows it's there. So, but with disadvantage, if it rolls a 1, 2, or 3 on any of these 4 d20s it's going to roll, it might be in trouble. So let's find out together, shall we?
Let's.
Jump 1, it makes it. Jump 2, it makes it.
No.
Wow. So, 5, 10.
I don't love this.
So it can't attack anyone because it had double move, but it comes charging on fire through the hallway. It jumps on the sides of the stone walls here. Like it puts its arms up and it runs sideways along them to get away from the trap, jumps back down, and just comes barreling through the hallway.
Nice underworld nod.
Yeah. It jumps up on this wall sideways and then just leaps into the middle, right here in front of the 3 of you, turns, stares, and growls at everyone.
Boop.
Rosemarie, you go. None of you, by the way.
It's been a fantastic experience traveling with all of you.
It's actually a little bit better.
I can't fault you for that.
Is it on the trap?
It's just past the trap. Like literally, it landed on exactly the other side of the trap. Also, for your reference, Clyde and Rosemary, you are not in its melee range right now.
Okay.
You can walk away and not take an attack of opportunity.
I'm still foolhardy. I'm gonna try and grease it one last time and then book it 30 feet.
Sure. All right.
It still has, difficult terrain. Will slow it down enough.
Here we go. Grease roll.
Wait.
What? All right, I can reroll. What's up?
No, I was going to say, will Gust push it into the trap?
I'm going to hop down onto the ground because I believe Gust is a concentration spell. I'm going to go there.
Is.
I'm going to try and get as far away from it as I can, and I'm going to gust it into the trap.
All right.
Do it. Hopefully it's still got a little bit of grease on its claws.
All right. What is your save throw against this gust of wind?
13 still.
13. It's a strength saving throw.
Oh, no.
Maybe grease was better.
All right. Here we go.
But it would have looked cool if it would have worked.
Oh.
Well,
The
we
wind-
rolled a 20. It wasn't going to happen anyways.
I actually gave it disadvantage from it being disoriented from grease and fire, so I just rolled a 17 and a 20. But its strength bonus is a +9.
Yeah.
There is a gentle breeze blowing, or a gust of wind blowing on it. So now the flames are kicked back like a phoenix, and it just turns and looks at all of you.
Oh, we have to get Valancourt to draw this.
Okay. Can I actually make it to there and then gust of wind it, just out of curiosity?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, so the gust of wind is still there. It's still rough terrain for him to walk in it.
Yes.
And the gas is gone.
Yeah, the gas is gone. Okay, this is going great.
No, it's not. It's not. You're a liar.
All right, next round. Clyde, you go. So there is a pharaoh running down the hallway screaming. Sollisa, you haven't seen Sollisa in a while, and there is a flaming, oiled up, angry lurker right in front of you.
Only one thing to do.
Standing inches away from the tree.
Yes. Do the
Measuring
smart.
60 feet.
Do the
Oops.
smart.
Running.
You double moved?
Double move.
All right. Vyatka.
I have to. Throw the acid flask at him.
All right, make your attack roll.
Luckily, no disadvantage. This kind of thing. 20 plus 5. 7.
You throw the acid flask, and the acid hits the fire. It starts bubbling. The glass breaks across it. The lurker shakes its head left and right. So now there's acid smoke coming off of the fire, which the gust of wind is really pushing back. Didn't really affect it, though.
Okay. And then bravely run away.
Bravely, bravely run away.
Now,
The
my
pharaoh.
only hope is that he won't run towards me.
The pharaoh just runs
I'm
down.
hiding. Got a 19 on my hide.
I got a 19, nice. The pharaoh goes running down the hallway, and in Grun screams, "You're just making this worse," and just runs down the hallway.
Worse or better?
You hear from down the hallway, "Worse." Sollisa, you go before the lurker goes.
Yeah, I do, technically. All right. Whew. This is bad. All right. Well, 45 to there. Yes, well, right around that corner. Okie dokie. All right, so I will run to right there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't actually know what's happening, but I do kind of probably see some flaming grease over here.
There's like smoke billowing back out of this hallway that smells like acid.
Great, lovely. Yeah, and that's kind of all I can do. So that's it.
All right, the workers are gonna follow you,
Yep.
keeping up with you.
I'm gonna put my finger to my mouth. Universal, please don't say anything. God, don't say anything.
The lurker's gonna go.
Difficult terrain.
It has difficult terrain.
Only
So-
when it moves closer to me. It doesn't have difficult terrain if it moves out of my wind.
Oh, okay. But it is moving
Right,
at
but
half.
it's still going to impact it at the start, as is fire.
Yeah, because the grease was only 10 feet around it, but this is the whole line is difficult terrain, right?
Yeah, just the line in front of me.
Okay, so it's going to double move, so it basically moves its normal 30 feet.
And
You
take
all
another point of
turn-
damage.
Oh, thank you. Take another point of damage.
Not that I imagine this will count up to enough.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So it can't attack you, but it had to double move to get there. You all turn and look as the lurker on all fours is just barreling into the wind, and the wind is trying to hold it back, and it's just bit by bit making its way towards Rosemarie until it finally gets right up in front of her.
It actually needs to make another saving throw.
For what?
It needs to make another saving throw at the start of its turn, or get pushed back.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right, let's see if it fails this. It does not.
Okay.
That
It was
would
a good
have
try.
been
rather well.
that would have been fantastic.
You can't blame me for trying.
I can't blame you for trying, and you are being very brave right now. The lurker just sort of like pushes its way through the wind. If you've ever seen somebody with like, trying to open their car door on a gusty day, just like shoving forward till it gets right in front of Rosemarie and then stands up on its hind legs and looks down at you. All four of its arms unfurl. Its chest starts billowing with necrotic energy, and it looks down at you, and you think you hear it growl laugh. It's a noise you've never heard before. You know that next turn, you are in terrible, terrible danger.
Run away. Got it.
Well, disengage, then run away. But yes.
Disengage, then run away.
I think everyone went this turn. Oh, no, Rosemarie, you're the last person to go.
All right. I'm going to disengage and then move 30 feet. 5, 10, 15, 30. And then as a bonus action, I will wheel the wind around to point towards it.
Okay, so the wind is going from here to here, basically?
Yep.
Okay. The wind, you roll out from underneath it. It takes a swipe at you, and you just like, roll underneath and skitter on the ground. You're not like the most acrobatic board out there. As you come back up, it turns to charge you immediately, and the wind starts blowing it back again. It gives another growl this time without so much the sensation of the laugh. You think now it's actually angry.
Help.
Clyde, what you got?
Oh, all right.
Bullet move.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to take... we need to try and keep this thing in its spot. I'm going to shoot at it with a brutal shot. So I'm going to use one of my rune shots. And yeah, this is just going to do extra damage. So just going to, rune bullet come out and boom.
The wind's in your favor, at least, for the shot.
Yeah, you have a strong headwind. Or tailwind.
Yep, that's right. Oh, whoops. $23.
You hit it.
Yeah, you do.
Give me some damage there, Tony.
And I am still pistol dueling, so +5. And the mage lock pistol in the hands of a gun mage is a magical weapon.
It is.
If it makes any difference.
Mm-hmm. What'd you do? 10 points of damage?
10 points. Oh,
right.
No. That does not count for my brutal shot. I forgot to add in the brutal damage.
Go for it.
So an extra 2d6.
Ooh, nice.
The brutal damage would have also made a crit on a 19 or 20, so just missed it. So 16 total.
Okay.
Blam!
You shoot it in one of its tiny hands, one of its tiny little weird gribbly hands, and you blow one of its tiny little hands off. You see, there's a stump that is bleeding necrotic blood out of it. It turns its attention from Rosemarie and stares directly at Clyde.
Okay.
Run.
Yeah. I'm going to come back here. I can go one more. There we go.
All right. You thoroughly have his attention as the first person to actually really, really hurt its feelings and its body.
Yeah. Smug
Vyatka,
satisfaction and then a complete retreat.
Yeah. What do you got going on? John, your go.
Oh, all right. Well, I am out of. I got no fire. I got no.
You just got your quick brew left.
I just have the quick brew. So we're gonna scroll back down here real quick because one of these is actually kind of dope.
Also, unfortunately, it is my duty to inform the GM that the fire that it's currently on does have a 50% chance to extinguish because of my wind.
Oh, cool.
That's fine. It does barely any damage anyway. But no, we're going we are going to lob a dose of Black Bond at it. So Black Bond is
the fire has not gone out.
Is a big old. It's just a big old bottle of basically super glue.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna lob that and hope that it gets stuck.
So go ahead and this is one of your quick brews. Read to everybody what Black Bond does specifically.
All right, so you mix ingredients to create a dose of black bond, thick black adhesive. As an action, you can apply it to a surface. In this case, I'm just going to chuck it.
Yep.
Improvised weapons. So it can cover 1 ounce can cover a 1 foot square surface and hold up to 200 pounds.
Okay.
It loses coherency after 10 minutes. I guess
Okay.
it actually looks like this thing is over 200 pounds.
Yeah, but if you're running and one of your legs gets caught up on something that holds 200 pounds,
yeah,
that's usually
it's gonna do more than stink gas.
Things only said in the Iron Kingdoms.
Right.
Whether with stink gas or not, boys. All right.
So just gonna roll to hit, I guess, or just lob
you
it?
just throw it in the path.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, lob it and then basically continue fleeing for my life.
You all watch as Vyatka makes one of his random concoctions, and this time it looks like he threw it and a black puddle appeared. The Pharaoh runs away, and you hear down this hallway in Grun as he books it, and he turns the corner up the stairs and back up. He says, "A rope! That was a good idea!" He yells back down in Grun, "Is it safe?"
Yes.
All right. Sollisa goes.
Okay, here we go. All right, so doing my double move. 20 to there, and then whip 40 to there. Okay, good to know. And then as my bonus action, I'm going to go ahead and there's kind of no reason not to give out Bardic Inspiration. Really, I'm going to do a Fellcall. But I get to do it as part of that.
Okay.
So as part of any Fellcall, to activate a Fellcall, it's either a bonus action or as part of giving out Bardic Inspiration.
Yep.
So I'll go and give out Bardic Inspiration to who's going to actually shoot at this thing again.
Probably.
Yeah, I
Very
guess
good
Clyde.
chance
So
Clyde
Clyde
will.
will get Bardic Inspiration. That means you can add a D6 to any D20 roll, basically.
Mhm.
And you get to do so after you see the D20 roll, but before you know the effects of the D20 roll. And as part of that, I'm also going to use Fell Howl, which gives all enemies -1 to attack and damage rolls if they can hear me, which he's going to be able to hear me. And disadvantage on saving throws against being frightened or charmed. Who knows if this thing can even be frightened, but I'm going to try next turn.
Sure.
And that's my turn.
All right. So from down the hallway, the laborers are running up behind you, and they stop just short as you take a deep breath, fill your chest, open your mouth, and just like huge Fellcalls just bellowing throughout the halls. You see the lurker like shakes its head back and forth as you're making this noise that's filling everything. It doesn't know who it's going to attack because Rosemarie has been baiting it, which it doesn't like. Clyde shot the hell out of it, which it also doesn't like, and you're being noisy. So it goes, and we're actually going to
At the top of its turn, it needs to make a saving throw.
And take more fire.
give me that fire damage.
Hooray!
That fire.
That inconsequential fire damage.
Hey, 5 ain't nothing.
1 point of damage.
I did roll this time, and the gust of wind did blow the fire out.
Okay.
Oh, the fire finally goes out after it takes its damage, and then it's got that strength saving throw it has to make. Yeah.
Yes.
DC 13, which it's going to do easily.
It can roll a 1. You can.
Absolutely, yeah. It could roll a 1, 2, or 3 and totally fail. It is still slowed by half, though, which means it is still having to chase after people. Now, once it leaves this little area, though, it will no longer be in the gust of wind, unless you
steps in the glue.
Yes, which it's about to do. The lurker has to double move again because it's moving at half speed. You're doing a good job of keeping yourself alive. I will give you that much there, Loren. You're doing a fantastic job of not getting gibbed by a sepulchral lurker. It gets to right about here. It's got a little bit more movement. It does step in the black sticky tack you've thrown on the ground. It's fighting against the wind. It steps on this. So I'm going to give it 2 different things. First, a strength saving throw, which it passes. Then a dexterity saving throw, because it has a lot of elements right now trying to topple it over, which it fails. It pushes through the wind, barely getting there, and as it's going full force, one of its feet steps in the sticky stuff, so it's trying to go full force forward. One foot steps in, so the rest of its body pushes forward, and that foot gets stuck for a momentary second, so the sepulchral lurker topples over and lands right on its face, basically getting tricked by that, because it rolled a 3 on that save. So the sepulchral lurker's turn ends with it prone and on the ground with its foot. It's no longer stuck, but like yanks out of it and is laying there on the ground for a second. Last person to go this turn is Rosemarie.
Well, I don't know what else I have that will just tempt fate here, but
it does have to stand up next turn.
Running is always good.
What's that?
Am I in its melee range? Can I figure?
You are not, because it's knocked down.
Okay.
It fell prone.
I'm going to move to here, keeping my line of wind there, making it harder for it to get out of.
Okay.
And I will cast Grease on it again with my last first level spell.
I love it.
Which
it fails horribly, even though it's already prone.
So it just tries to get up and just slips again, and
yes. Okay. So you throw grease underneath it with the wind blowing on it. It stands up, it slips back over, it tries to get up, it slips back over. The gust of wind is blowing on it as you've got it slicked and greased up. It can't go anywhere, and the grease slides it backwards up against the wall on it prone as the gust of wind just basically slams it across the wall.
Awesome. And then she's going to yell obscenities at Sollisa to hurry her ass up. We got to get out of here.
All right. That would be a new round. Is everyone simply running?
Yeah. I'm going to try one more thing before I.
All right,
I'm also going to be running, but yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to be trying.
Everybody run.
So let's go in a quick order. Clyde, are you just running?
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that I would do is when I get to the door, is I really don't want the Pharaoh to cut our line. So I want to know when I'm within range to be able to take a shot so I can evaluate the situation and see if I need to take out that Pharaoh.
Absolutely. Okay. So we'll get to that in one moment. So Clyde runs around the corner. Is that accurate, Tony?
That's accurate, yeah.
All right. Boop. Vyatka, do you do anything before you run around the corner?
Nope, but I can only get that far.
Yeah. The Pharaoh continues running. Faye, what do you do?
So I'm going to go 30 feet to right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to cast, I don't know, he's probably immune to this, but I'm going to cast Cloak of Fear.
Okay. That's a new spell from the Iron Kingdoms.
Yep. So a creature of your choice that can see you coming around the corner, so you can, becomes affected by fear. It doesn't affect constructs and undead, but I don't know if this thing is undead or a construct. I'm not completely sure. It might be. And they have to take a wisdom save or they become frightened.
Understood.
At disadvantage.
It was a great idea. Really smart. Lurkers are undead.
Yeah, that's what I assumed, but I wanted to do it. And it's also a bonus action because that spell is really nifty.
Yeah.
So I get to keep on running. And
Right.
I'm going to run to here.
The lurker tries to get up, rolls a natural 1.
Wow.
So when the lurkers go, you all... after all these great rolls I've been making, y'all are watching the lurker just fail horribly.
Just being an absolute goob.
Yeah. The lurker gets up and it begins throwing a tantrum. It tries to get up, falls over. The wind keeps blowing against the wall. It tries to get up, slips over, and you see it's just flinging its arms in every direction, kind of burrowing a hole in the ground it's around as it's just throwing a complete rage-filled tantrum that its prey is escaping. You all escape this lair and start making your way back towards the Orgoth chamber. You are out of combat with the lurker, who is effectively somebody put baby in a corner. It is stuck there, winded and greased up. You don't have much time to dally or dilly dally though. Like it will eventually get back up. All right, so you don't have a lot of time to dilly dally. This thing is going to eventually, get back up and start chasing you. So right now you're all running down the hall. Pharaoh's got a little bit of a head start, so we're just going to kind of go down the line because this is a moment of high energy and crisis, and see what everybody wants to do. John, what is your plan?
I am going to go ahead and go for one more use of the fast brew and pop some of that sticky black bond stuff, like right in the doorway, like if it was trying to go into the room with the trap.
Yes, the trap chamber. Okay,
do it.
Ideally, it steps in that and falls flat on its face, and then plummets to its death.
Okay, Tony.
Yeah.
I'm just booking it. I'm running as fast as I can. We came in, did what we had to do, and now we're out of here.
Rosemarie.
I'm on the safe side. I'd like to wait and just kind of use my wind to see if I can't knock it out of the air as it's trying to come into the room. I want to get it trapped in the blendo machine, if at all possible.
The blendo machine?
Your gust of wind, does it constantly come from you? Is it a point you can move around? Because right now it's back in that hole.
As a bonus action, I can change its direction, so I can hold it off, and then just as a reaction, just kind of move it into its face.
Okay. And then Sollisa Thunderheart, what is your plan?
I'm gonna book it, get across the rope.
And then cut the rope.
No, I'm actually not going to cut the rope because I've got a better idea. So I'm going to stay on the safe side. And in case it tries to use the rope in any way, shape, or form, I doubt it will, but it might. I'm going to destroy the pittance on both sides with my considerable voice.
Okay. Got it. So you all go running. Pharaoh's in the lead. It gets to the rope first. It gets on it, gives it a tug. You hear the sound back down in the catacombs, down the hallway, down the stairs in the area we were using the map. The sound of the lurker right itself and start running down the hallway. You hear it.
Must go faster.
The Pharaoh is going to attempt, it's going to use its athletics, and it's going to try and cross the rope. Remember, it's only DC 5. The Pharaoh starts shimmying. Next up is Vyatka.
Vyatka.
DC 5, how do you want to make it across?
Also athletics. So that's a +4. Roll. 1D, don't die, 20 +4. 23.
You are not even waiting for the Pharaoh to get across. You are just right behind it.
Climb over him.
Climbing over the Pharaoh.
Clyde, you're up next.
Like I said, let's go faster.
Sollisa and Rosemarie, you hear it start running up the stairs back at the catacombs.
I've got the wind going down.
Yeah, you're like.
All right, yeah, climbing across.
Give me that DC 5 check.
Boom.
Oh yeah. You start. So Rosemarie, are you going to be the last one to cross so you can keep the wind going?
Yeah.
I love the hesitation. Are you willing to hold off this disaster?
So you stand there, just gust of winding out of your hand. It comes out like a blizzard, as you are from the Greylord Covenant. Just frosty ice, and you see it comes to the top of the stairs. It puts its head down and is just barreling step by step against your gust of wind, trying to get up to you.
Hurry!
Sollisa, you're next.
15. Good solid.
Yep, you just pull yourself across, making sure you never touch the ground. The first construction laborer, John, tries to make his way across. You hear him say in Ordic, Morrow, give me strength.
Pray on the other side. Come on, let's go.
You say pray on the other side. He looks at you and goes, you're right. Thamar, give me luck. He holds onto the rope and just shimmies. Tobias goes next, and he goes, oh, all right. Can't be worse. And
don't ever say some stuff like that.
He barely makes it across.
Whoa.
He gets halfway across the room and slips for a second, almost touches the stone, and pulls himself back up. The lurker is maybe 30 feet away from you,
Go,
Rosemary, pushing its head down.
I just leap to the rope and just shimmy my best I can with my athletics. The wind kind of coming out of my feet to propel me.
Skadoosh.
Give me your DC 5 check.
It's 11 plus 1 for strength, so 12.
You jump, gust of wind back, and propel yourself. The lurker is giving chase. Now, the lurker's intelligent. It knows about this room, but you have all really, really angered it. It runs right up to the edge as Rosemary gets to the other side. It is going to try and make it onto the rope and jump the room, but it does step its feet into the sticky goo that you left at the threshold. So I'm going to have it make its dexterity check here with disadvantage to see if it makes the 5 or not.
Fall.
Oh, come on.
All right.
A 20 and a 19? That's not fair.
That's not a disadvantage roll.
I roll good. What can I say? I played War Machine a long time.
Oh man, that's what we should have had. We should have had you saying "easy game" every time you had to make a roll.
Rosemary clears the chamber on the other side, the side you came from, and you're using the wind to hold it back. Even with disadvantage, the lurker jumps up, puts its claws on the side of the walls, looks down at the rope, looks at all of you, rears back, and looks like it's going to try and jump the room, use the rope, run across it, and get to you. So you see it rear back, and it leaps in midair, flying across the chamber towards your doorway. Everyone gets to do one thing. Start with Faye. Faye, what do you want to do?
Okay, so sorry. It is currently it's in midair right now.
It is in matrix pose midair from catacomb side to cave side.
Okay, this is last ditch effort, just in case it makes it to us. I'm going to ready an action to cast a thunder wave when it's 5 feet from us.
All right, Rosemary.
Terrible idea.
I'm going to try and loose the freaking rope. Like, I don't want it on the rope.
I thought you were going to wind blast it to...
Oh, I mean, I can do that as a bonus action.
Okay.
I can do both.
All right, you want to try and get the rope loose?
Yeah, the rope loose while I'm doing the wind at the same time. I can do both. So
if you got anything else, let me do the rope.
Okay, yeah. I don't have any spells left.
Okay,
so
you're just gonna keep the wind.
Still touch it, slow down, but that's it.
Okay, Clyde, what you got?
So I'm going to use my last rune shot, and I'm going to use Iron Rot, and I am going to try to shoot the piton that's holding the rope into the wall. And so Iron Rot will, if it gets hit, anything that's...
I have acid I use to make potions. I can deal with the rope. Shoot the thing.
I like where Tony's going with this. Do you want to shoot the piton?
Yeah. I want to shoot it, and because Iron Rot will... Any non-magical item that's hit by the shot, up to like a max of 20 pounds, is immediately corroded and destroyed. So rather than try to pry it out of the wall, just a quick bang and out.
Tony, give me a... Are you shooting the piton on your side or on the opposite side?
Where is the lurker in relation to me doing this at this moment?
Mid-air, all 4 arms back, leaping through the air like a beautiful swan.
I think... Is there any advantage... I imagine the one closest to me is going to be the easiest to aim at. So I'm going to shoot that.
So you don't even have to roll, Tony. It's point blank with a Mage Lock pistol. Clyde turns around, points at the piton that was holding the rope in place. Boom! Shoots it. With the Iron Rot Mage Lock shot, he shoots it, and you see it dissolves almost like a piece of paper that's been set on fire. Starts at the end, it just kind of like fizzles backwards. The rope drops. It hits the floor in the chamber as it falls across its own taut length. It just kind of goes limp like that across the chamber floor, and the doors go on either side. You hear on the door on your side. A few moments go by, and there's just silence. The doors open up. There's no rope. There's no lurker.
Yeah. If I could have grabbed the pharaoh, I would have thrown him in. But
You still
Well,
I
the
thought
thing
about
was
shooting
mid-deep.
him a lot, but you never quite got there.
The party is safe. You've saved both of the laborers, and you have a pharaoh friend with you as well. Not to mention, you have an entire catacomb of Orgoth relics now to go plunder that you've actually managed to kill the lurker through treachery and deceit. So what we're going to do for everybody watching is we're actually going to end our session now. I know watching people roll on magic tables and getting experience and leveling up isn't always the most exciting thing. So we're going to handle all the after game stuff here. But there's a lot of exciting things to see what happens next. What happens with their new pharaoh friend? Is he just
Hamilton.
is Hamilton just executed or questioned about this Emperor Carver? Does the party actually go back to New Larkholm and collect their crowns? And of course, what goodies do they find in the Orgoth catacombs? So there's a lot more stuff to go on. And does the party ever get to 5 fingers or not? So
I love the idea of right at the beginning of the campaign we were going to 5 fingers, and then somehow 20 sessions later, never gotten there.
just never get there.
Just never happened.
So that is the end of this adventure. We won't be picking up again with this adventure, but next time we do one of these kind of streams, if it is this group of characters again, we'll just find out what they're up to somewhere else in the Iron Kingdoms. So as a reminder, if you're watching this around January, February 2021, the Iron Kingdoms Requiem Kickstarter is on right now. It goes until February 11th. If you're checking this out afterwards, check out privateerpress.com or your local game store and pick up the Iron Kingdoms 5e compatible books and come join on the adventures with us. Until next time, everybody, see you. And anything you players want to say before we get out of here?
Gobbers and
Thanks for
alchemy go
watching.
together.
It's
like
a lot of fun,
black
guys.
bond and fire.
I had to make a trollkin. It was mandatory.
And the nicest trollkin ever.
Yes.
Ever.
The
Ever.
nicest
Really?
compared to these psychos.
These psychos are psychos.
Maybe I could find Orgoth's sword in there, give it to our new Hamilton friend.
Why would you? His name is Maximus. He exists already. We don't need another one.
It's called an
terrible
origin
idea.
story, Hungerford. It's an origin story.
Right.
You see the tools I have to work with, people. I'm sorry. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.